Eclipse Theory Games, a podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-host,
Tony, aka Beanie Peagle.
You motherfucker, you
Yeah,
man. That was a personal one. That was a
yeah,
topical one. I'm not
yeah,
mad. I'm not mad. Man, I just seen a little like Twitter thread about like Beanie Siegel versus Jadakiss, like that whole beef that
yeah. I
they
saw that
had.
shit. I saw
Oh
that shit.
my
Man, there was some
God.
disrespectful ass bars and that shit. I
Yes.
forgot.
Yes. If y'all didn't know this is a podcast about rap beefs, you know what I'm saying? I should go like bro, they were going at it. That shit's crazy. We don't really get that anymore. No, this is
Nah.
actually Eclipse Theory
Well,
Games.
no,
This
we
is
do, but
a
other niggas get their daddy involved and shut it all down.
yeah. We ain't we ain't gonna speak too much on that because it is what it is. Start getting other people involved and then you start dissing Pharrell for some reason, and it's just a mess now. It's just a mess. But anyway, this is Eclipse Theory Games. Welcome back to the show. We are back for episode 33, man. We are rolling along. I'm really am proud of how long we've been like keeping this afloat, keeping it sustained, and bringing out good podcast content. And yes, I just did compliment us. We're doing our thing. So
No, we deserve it.
absolutely, I'm patting myself on the back. If I didn't want to awkwardly do it like physically, I would. But yeah, no, we're back again, and it's actually a hell of a week for games. I mean, I don't know if y'all noticed, but we got two bangers. Honestly, three bangers, because ain't nobody
Three.
talking about Sonic because he got overshadowed by Mario. It is what it is. But we
Still,
just got
30 years later.
listen. When your game drops on a Nintendo console, it's like you know what I mean. Every time that happens, it's been so long, but I'm just like, damn, Sonic,
Yeah.
be like that, man. They really won for a while. That's the craziest shit about it. Like they were
Yeah, they
winning.
did.
Like, but anyway, we're actually here to talk about that. That's actually very on topic because we want to talk about
The
the
Nas and
state of
Jay-Z of gaming.
exactly the state of platforming. In the wake of Super Mario Wonder, we did just get a new Super Mario and a new Sonic Superstars. I've been able to play Mario Wonder, so I can actually speak firsthand on that. But we're also going to kind of touch on superhero games a little bit because obviously Spider-Man 2 just dropped. I haven't had a chance to pick it up myself yet, but it's waiting on my PS5 and I cannot wait.
And I am broke and can't get either one. So,
Listen, it's coming for you. I was just telling you, man, we just tested about this shit. This year is going to have like bargain bins and sales and shit, so to speak. Crazy for like the next few years. Like in the next few years, they're not gonna drop soon, but when they start dropping, you're gonna have some bangers out there for like $20-$30. So
yep.
don't even trip. Now it's not gonna be Mario. But
Nah, yeah, we know Nintendo ain't on that.
yeah, but Spider-Man, they might, look
Oh,
out a
no,
little
you'll
bit.
get Spider-Man for 30 in about 8, 9 months.
Exactly. Because it's just like everyone's gonna buy that game. The amount that Spider-Man 1 sold is crazy. Like I don't even have the numbers, but it's
And
surprising, even for Spider-Man.
then they turn around and remastered it and charged motherfuckers $10 for it and went right back to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the game we play, you know what I mean? I like how they did it though, including
I
with
ain't mad at
Miles.
$10.
Yeah,
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 like I feel the same way about that I did when they did GTA 5 on the PS5 and they dropped it for 10 for like the first 3 months or something like that.
yeah.
So it's only $10.
$10 is like $20 is fairly inoffensive when it comes to game purchases. $10 is like, you know, this is a little DLC
Yeah.
pack.
$10 is like a $1 bill in Diddy's wallet. I mean,
You know what I mean? It's a banana in the Arrested Development universe. You know what I mean? As far
that's a good.
but no, we are thrifty today. So we want to talk about. I'm gonna start with platforms. I want to kind of talk about like what to buy, what not to buy, what we want the state of platformers to be going forward. Because I feel like Mario Wonder, man, is a goddamn game changer. Like this game, just to speak on like firsthand experience, it's a phenomenal Mario game in a way we haven't really gotten from 2D Mario. Even if you like New Super Mario Bros, like those games were cool, but they were a little sterile. Like there's some about them that was a little lifeless. That is the opposite in every way to Super Mario Wonder. Like the the levels themselves give you a little bit of that Mario World, Mario 3 vibe because there's secrets galore. Like I just found a secret world. Like my second time playing through some shit. I played the co-op with my cousin and we just got through it and got to the next world and it was cool. Like I'm like, this is dope. We're finding shit already. But I played it by myself and I'm actually like trying to get everything. and I fucking stumbled upon like a secret ending where like I go past the flag at the end of the level, and it opens up a whole chain of new levels, and now I'm in a different fucking like I don't even want to spoil anything or anything like that. I
Oh,
mean,
they
there's
Star
just
Foxed it.
man, it's crazy. Yeah, like there's twists and turns galore, and that's not even to mention the wonder flowers, which pretty much take every level and remix them. Like it's like if you grab one, you know something crazy is gonna happen, whether it's like a parade or again, that's what I would actually consider spoilers. Like getting to every level and hitting a flower and finding out what the fuck is about to change or like what's Mario about to turn into. Am I gonna be in space? Am I gonna turn into a fucking spike ball? You know what I mean? Am I gonna be chased by a stampede? All of these things are real. Like this is I mean, this shit's crazy. It's
All
a
right, so
lot.
let me ask you: Have you've replayed levels to this point?
Yeah, yeah, a
Does
couple
the
of
Wonder
them.
Flower do the same thing on the level, or is it different? Like if
Yeah,
you replay like World One, is it the same shit?
it's the same thing. Yeah, like
Okay,
they're pretty static and like set to each level, but it gives them a
okay,
lot of opportunities to like. And again, there's like secret stuff. Like so for every level, there's like two wonder seeds you getting. One of them is optional, and you get it if you can find the wonder flower and like accomplish a goal while the world is all flipped around. You get a wonder seed for that. Those are pretty much your stars in this.
okay.
And yeah, at the end of the level, you get another one. So you can get two from each level. I've recently discovered that some levels have three. Like you can go a different route sometimes and you'll find like a whole checkpoint and a whole nother half of a level instead of going to the flag. It's wild. Like there's so much variety here. I don't even know what type of shit I'm about to discover in this game, which is what I want from a 2D Mario. Like I hear a lot of people
Yeah,
comparing it to Mario World and even Mario 3. Like you think back to Mario 3 on like, the second or third level, you go on that white block and like hold down and you drop down behind it and you know what I mean? Like that
right.
type of discovery is all over this game and it's amazing, dude. Like,
Okay, so what it sounds like to me is New Super Mario Brothers was them just going, we got to get some shit out, and Wonder was them going, all right, we had time now to actually figure this shit out.
to some degree, like I can agree with that. Like Wonder definitely feels more inspired. There's something that they were striving to do with this game, and they really. I haven't gotten that far. Like I'm a couple worlds in or whatever, but from what I played, they're knocking it out of the park. Like the ratings that it's getting. But
Man,
yeah, like this is,
they throwing nines at that shit like it ain't nothing.
and I
Tens.
mean, when your game has Mario on the cover, that's not controversial. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make any like tinfoil hat comments about like the reviews industry, like the review side of the games industry, but you kind of know what it is. Like if you hip to reviews, like if you're watching a gaming podcast, the large outlets give you a parameter within which the game fits, right? Like so if a game gets an 8, it might be a 9 for you. You know what I mean? It might be a 10 for you. It might be a 7, right? But it's a good game. It's in the good game category. If it gets a
Yeah.
9, it's in the great game category. That shit might be your favorite of all time. Or if you don't find the trailer interesting, it's going to still be mid. Like, you know what I mean? If it's a 10,
Yeah.
it's a must play for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, pick this game up. If anything about it interests you, you're going to find a surprisingly good experience. This game fits between that 9 and 10 so beautifully. Like, I mean, I haven't played enough to call it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, right? But it's at least a 9 for sure. At least.
I mean, shit, man. I mean, you know where I stand doing it, man. I've had fun with sixes.
Right.
So, you
Right.
know,
So like it's all about your individual perspective. And that's what I hope people don't forget when we start rolling into like, especially with this year with like game of the year. Like, there's gonna be diehard fans of certain games that aren't getting as much buzz, but your 10 out of 10 is just as good as every other 10 out of 10.
yeah.
this is
It's
this is kind of
basically the Elden Ring God of War thing. Like
right.
either one of them could have won Game of the Year, and I wouldn't have been mad. And I still haven't played Elden Ring, but again, just looking at it, I can tell it's elite.
Yeah,
And
you
that's
can see
kind
the
of where you come
quality.
with some of these games. It's like you only have to look at the reviews. Some games you can literally just watch some gameplay video and go, I get it.
Right, exactly. Like if you see something in the game that like appeals to you, it grabs you, you know what type of game you're looking at. Like we're at the point in gaming where you can showcase things that we understand and we'll start picturing how the mechanics are going to build out later in the game. And that's what gets us hyped. Like we notice this a little bit more now. Whereas I feel like the games industry was in a weird place, and this is a good way to segment into this platforming conversation because I feel like platforming needs to jump into this era of games in a bigger way. Like, that's not to say there's not like great platformers coming out right now. You know, you got Rift Apart, Ratchet and Clank, Mario, you know, things like that. But those are few and far between compared to what we used to get, which was even your like you said, even your 6 or 7 out of tens was going to hit for somebody. You know.
Well, I think the other thing is that there's so much less of an emphasis on third party games now
Yep.
because that's where a lot of the platformers used to come from. I mean, like you had Sega had Sonic, Nintendo had Mario,
Hmm.
PlayStation had Jack and Dexter and Ratchet and Clank. Xbox didn't really have one, but other
They
than
tried a few
Xbox,
times.
everybody, yeah, they did. Everybody had a platform, but in between that, the third parties was coming through with their own shit.
Right.
So that
Exactly.
genre was living. Now, if it ain't Sonic and Mario, that shit ain't happening unless it's
Yeah.
like in the indies. And unless you like us, you're not paying attention to that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like indie games with that will be considered like, well, a lot of times the platformers tend to be like Metroidvanias or it's got a subgenre that kind of builds
And
on
see,
the
that's the
platform.
thing, is that it doesn't I did like it doesn't identify as a platform.
Right, right. You know what I mean? Like you gotta respect that, right? It's 2023.
Yeah.
But nah, but I feel like the mascot platformer is its own beast. It's kind of like it's a weird genre thing. Like with an RPG elements, we talk about it all the time in the games industry, how that shit means nothing now. Because if your game doesn't have RPG elements, like I mean, you better have a good ass static ass character, you know?
Right.
You leveling up and everything. So platformers that are like pure platformers, like the ones that hang with the goats, you know what I mean? Those are definitely few and far between. And I feel like there's a space for them. I feel like you look at the games that come out now, and right now we have Mario. Crash had Crash 4, which was great. Like that was awesome. And
Crash 4 was incredible.
I
Man,
man, I can't believe it exists. Like that game is crazy.
dog, I never thought we was getting another Crash.
And not in a reboot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, take Crash back to the end of 3 and make a sequel. That shit is
Right.
a
And that
fever
shit
dream.
was just as hard as one.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
man, it was some difficulty spikes in that motherfucker that made me feel like I was 10 years old again.
Man, they went crazy. And I didn't even like beat it. I didn't even put like a lot of time into it yet. Like, I recently got my PS5, and that's when I first, you know, decided to delve into it with the new PS Plus and all that stuff. So I haven't gotten a chance to like beat it and everything, but
I
Crash
finished
Me
it.
on,
Took some work, nigga. That last level,
yeah, I believe it. I hear like
man.
I've seen enough of it and heard enough about it that
I
like
I beat it at
yeah,
home, and then my dad called me because my dad was the reason I loved Crash because we played it together all the time growing
nice.
up.
That's dope.
So he called me. He was like, "Look, I can't. You gonna have to come up." I drove to my parents' house
To
for the
be
express purpose of helping my dad beat that level, and we was still in there for 3 hours trying to work it out, and I
yeah,
had already done it.
man. Listen, it be like that, bro. Like, all right, so I really appreciate that story, and I just want to make a point to say, give us a Crash 5, please. Like, y'all just
Yeah,
got purchased. That shit happened. You're
yeah.
owned by this mega corp. They already came out and said we're willing to look at older series. We can do that, please. We
And it's
want
too
it.
late now. You gave us four. You've already pretty much you've come back. It's
Why'd you do that if you're not gonna, you know?
why.
You ever
I don't want to play whatever that what Crash Rumble or Crash Team Rumble, whatever the fuck it was called.
which I
I don't want
heard
to play
was
that.
fun. I
I
heard that
heard it
shit
was
was fun,
solid,
but
but that's not what I'm here
not my
for. Just
yeah,
like
it's not
Crash
my
Team
genre.
Racing. Crash Team Racing was fun, but that ain't what I'm here for.
Facts. Facts. Man, you just reminded me of that fucking Kevin Garnett theme from Uncut Gems with the
Nigga, why would you show me something if I can't have it?
That's 100% it. Please don't drop the ball like that. You already got that, and I know we're not talking about the genre, but that and Tony Hawk, y'all, man,
Yeah, they gave us the 1 and 2 reboot.
bro,
Yeah, you gotta bring that back.
three and
Give us
four.
underground. Give us underground again.
Yes, I need. So three was the one that really hit me, like how two hit everyone else. Three was my one, and then Underground was just Underground, bro. Like that
Yeah,
was the goat to me.
underground was so fucking good.
I used to just live in that joint. Like, you know, a PS2 game was great. It's like the Spider-Man 2, GTA, Tony Hawk Undergrounds. You just booting them up and
Need for
doing
Speed
shit.
too.
Yeah, Midnight Club
Yeah,
3. You know what I
Underground. Yeah,
mean?
that.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
man. That's
Man,
great
great
era.
times. Great times. We getting very nostalgic on this episode because we talking platformers and like that makes sense. But
But that's yeah, that's the nostalgia genre. Like
facts.
that's the one that bring it all back. I mean, you remember like
Yeah.
Ghosts and Goblins. You play that shit? You want to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about old
well,
school
I have
difficult motherfucking
hard
game?
as fuck. Yeah, I was about to say, let me not. I'm not going to tell you I've ever accomplished anything in the Ghosts and
Oh, I haven't
Goblins
either.
game.
I
Like,
haven't.
yeah, like that
No.
shit. Yeah, that's. But see, that's
Mm-mm.
like that's such a charming side of it. We look at platformers and we think of like, oh, this is like honestly like the most basic form of video game, right? Like it's Mario and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's video games. Like that's what
Yeah.
platformers look like. But
Yeah.
dog,
But nah,
yeah,
there's some demons in there.
hell yeah, you get to the Ninja
Lion King.
Guidance. Oh
We
my
talked
god,
about it last episode.
yes,
Lion King is up there with the demons.
yeah, but
Ninja
like all
Gaiden
them,
was NES and still the
yeah,
kids. We were kids,
it's crazy. We
and
were
that, like
kids beating that shit and
I
starting
look
all the
at
way over.
right, and
It's
that's the thing.
crazy,
Like I look at those games and I go, I ended up loving video games despite the fact that I played those. So either my
right,
tenacity is on 100, or there were signs of me being a sociopath that people just ignored.
bro. Listen, it's the same thing that makes I you could probably tally up the number of episodes I bring up Souls games versus the ones I don't, and I'm gonna beat you very much in the category of bringing it up all the time. But it's the
Yeah,
same type of masochism, bro. Like I want to beat this shit. You got me fucked up. Like that's what it is. Like it's
I guess that's the thing that drove me to buy the Aladdin Lion King Disney bundle is me looking at that
yeah,
going, yeah, no, no,
yeah. We go because I promise you, 89 failures ain't gonna mean nothing. Because 90, if it's successful, I beat that joint. You know, I beat that joint,
nigga,
right? Like that's all you got. Like
nigga.
it's
I
it
mean,
is what it is.
I could think back, and this probably, and I might be being generous with the number, but there's probably 200 to 250 times that I have thrown the middle finger up at my TV screen after finally beating something.
Oh man, I know. I'm
Like this
way
game can't
over that,
see me, but I'm like,
bro. I'm talking about double, bro. Like I'm over.
dog,
It's real.
screaming at the motherfucking TV.
Yep,
Fuck you, bitch.
yep. Dude, I
Just
just
mad.
do you know how many times I beat Armored Core 6 recently? That shit had me,
Nigga.
yeah, yeah. But on the topic of platformers, that brings up an interesting question. Like, do we have that still? Because I know you have some tough platformers like you know, your Katana Zeros. Like that's a skill-based platformer, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that genre should be a little bit bigger. Like that feels like something that we should have a few more of.
I think with the advent of Souls games, it should have been, but it doesn't seem like like people have taken advantage of it.
Well, you know what?
Like,
Actually, since you say that, it makes me realize they have, if you count the platformers that, you know, like don't identify as platformers. Like that is like where those live. You get
well,
so
yeah,
many
but I'm
2D
talking
souls.
about like, yeah, but see, I'm talking about like
The Ninja Guidance and shit. Yeah,
the
yeah,
base, like
yeah.
the basic shit, you know, level zero platformer,
Facts.
basically.
Like
You
pure
know, we don't
platforms.
have them no more. And I think I would have thought with Souls games and their I don't even like associating them with their difficulty
Right.
necessarily
It's about
because I
mastery. Like,
do think right, and that's the thing. I
yeah,
do think it's a part of actually learning the game because if you learn it, you watch people who learned it. There is a rhythm to that shit that makes it very obvious that if you don't get the rhythm, you're going to get your ass kicked.
and if you get it, you can coast through their catalog. Like I'm talking
Yeah,
about like pick up a new genre and I'm like, okay, bet. Like
but with like
it's
a platformer, it's
yeah,
not that. That
yeah,
shit's difficult, and you just got to get your jump right. Like there's no
facts.
mastery. You just have to jump it. You just got to get it
Yeah.
right.
Man,
And I don't think we get those anymore.
you know, somebody brought up how like Mario's only real skill is jumping on shit. Like he doesn't do shit. He is Jumpman, but like you associate him with the fire flower and like you know all these different things. No, Mario.
No,
That's
because
not
those are
even Super
items.
Mario. Super Mario
Yeah,
can't do shit. Like Fire Mario can do stuff. You know, Tanuki Mario, all that. Mario jumps, and you can never get a power up and beat the game jumping over and onto things. And like
nope.
it's crazy. Like they had to build a game where that's fun enough. You know what I mean? Like if you fail entirely, and I mean, I did as a kid, you know what I mean? Like I say it all the time, Mario 3 taught me to curse, but if you just lose your power-ups every time, like you cannot get right, you have to still be able to complete the challenge, like to some
Yeah.
degree, or they gotta keep giving you power-ups, whatever the case may be. But I just went back and played those games. I don't think there's a point where I just had to have, I mean, it's for optional secret shit or whatever, but it's a testament to like the strength of level or just game design that you
Level
need
design
for
too.
platforms. Yeah, but
Yeah.
there is the whole of the platformer is level design. Like it's all levels. Like you going from end of this level to the start of the next level, right? So the game design, but I also want to include like character mechanics because you look at Sonic, right? Like that game is totally different than Mario in a really impressive way for somebody that was coming out trying to just like shit on. He exists to shit on Mario. Like that's why they
Yeah.
made that man. And they didn't just make Mario. They was like, let's make something different and try to be objectively cooler. Like, and I
Yeah.
mean,
It was 90s cooler at least,
yeah, right, right. Which at the time,
But
hell, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
no. Sonic was 100% cooler than Mario.
It's
There's
crazy.
no, yeah,
I mean, he would
no
have been
doubt about that.
Poochie. I'm talking about 5 years later, you would have had Poochie the dog. Like
Hey,
5 years earlier, you would have had Poochie the dog.
that's
Like,
why Mario had to get into sports and shit, man.
yeah,
This,
he had
this
to.
plumbing shit ain't working out, man.
This motherfucker had to start
Sonic whooping
frowning and
my ass with these
play some
kids,
soccer and shit. Just get the mean mug all game. Like
nigga.
that game was
And then
amazing.
found
But
out Luigi was the meaner of the two.
yeah, Mario Kart taught me that. Mario Kart
Yeah,
taught me this man is a straight up sociopath. It's
psychopath.
crazy. It's wild out here.
Yeah,
But speaking of mascot platformers, one I want to bring up, and I do want to kind of transition to superhero games at some point, so we can make sure we get some time in for Spider Man. But Astrobot. Have you played like any of the Astrobot games?
yeah.
Okay, so you played any of the VR ones? Because I haven't.
No, I ain't play. No, I ain't play none of them
Okay,
yet.
but yeah, we all play like Astro's Playroom when we got our PS5s, of course. And
Yeah, yeah.
man, what a perfect fucking PlayStation mascot! Like they really did the thing, and they just not doing the thing with them. You
Nothing
know,
with nothing. Him and Sackboy.
man, they already had a perfect one, and I mean, with the way Sackboy exists and the way Media Molecule is, especially knowing that company a little bit more now, it's like I get the child more about creating things, and like they finally gave us Sackboy a big adventure on a PS5, so that's dope. We got our pure platformer with my man, but man, Astro, yeah, I need to take this
Missed
man to the
opportunity.
stratosphere. It's not even
Yeah.
missed yet because they just like restructured. I forget what exactly happened, but they did something where they restructured the company, like the logo got re-revealed. Um they started announcing that they're working on other projects. I'm hoping that we're about to see the resurgence of Astro as like a mainstay of PlayStation's catalog because those games are designed well enough for him to be your platformer. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I
he
spent
looks
a lot of
like
time playing Astro's Playroom.
man. I really want to go back and replay it. I haven't showed it to like my cousin who like hasn't played the PS5. So just showing that to people that have experience with PlayStation games, that's one of the best platformer characters with some of the best platforming games. I've heard crazy shit about Astro Bot
I've
Rescue Mission.
I have yet to play a PlayStation 5 game that made a better use of all the haptic shit than that.
Facts, facts. Because I mean, that's why that was like
I mean,
the
it was to
theme.
show it off, but it's like, damn, nobody like even Sony is like, y'all not even really leaning into this like y'all should have. I mean, y'all could take this shit out
Man,
and drop the price of the damn controller a little bit.
you know what I mean? Yeah, facts. Even though it's cool, but like it's
It's
not
dope.
really.
Like if people would use it, it's
Yeah,
incredible. But we ain't really seen no heavy like if Nintendo did that shit, trust and believe their games would be using it because
man,
that's what they
hell yeah.
do. I mean, the
Yep.
whole you look at the Wii, the Switch, everything that they've done that is specific to their controller, their game uses that shit if
Facts.
nobody else does.
All the way through Mario. Mario Wonder, if you want to use your badges, you can either hit the R button or you can shake your controller. We still shaking them Joy-Cons. It's to
Yep.
this day. It's shit crazy. But I mean, that's why it matters. Like, there's a point to this shit if you use it right. Astrobot used it right. A lot of platformers don't. A lot of them come off as gimmicky or whatever. That's why they kind of fail and die. And I feel like the genre got associated with death a little bit. Like,
Because I mean
again,
that is the I mean it was roguelikes before roguelikes.
right,
Because
right.
I mean you like you said, you go back to them older ones, man. You had three lives and maybe one continue, and you had to try and get some more continues somehow. You run out of
But see,
continues, you starting that motherfucker over.
Absolutely. But when I say like associated with death, I mean more like in a like a existential way where like the mascots them like failure more so. Like they've been there
Oh
was a
man.
point where people were dropping platformers and like, okay, you're trying to do a thing. Like Blinks is gone. Blinks is up out of here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah, that was Xbox's one big attempt at that.
yeah, yeah, unless you want to count like Cameo. That was a platformer, right?
Was it? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess
Like a
it.
3D platformer action
It's kind of, I look at it
adventure.
more like Star Fox Adventure. So like,
Yeah, it's action adventure game, so to speak. But that's the thing, like you start blurring lines when you try to switch it up a little bit, like so that your character does more than jump. And it gets tricky. But it's
remember
just
Jumping
always
Flash?
man.
That was my shit. That's what they need to bring back. Bring back Jumping Flash.
Bro, you know what? There's so many that you can go down the list on. I'm trying to think of what my one was because I know I have like a one for every genre. RPGs, you already know is mother.
Yeah.
It was Legend of Dragoon too, but for platformers, I don't know what my sleeper hit is. Aside from like we talked about Newgrounds games and how fucking fire Fancy Pants Adventures was. I still want a
Yeah.
full platformer of that. That might be my sleeper. That might be my super sleeper. Niggas don't know about that shit. But
Yeah, no, that's a deep, deep cut.
yeah, yeah. But before we get too long to the episode, I do want to kind of transition and make sure we get some time in for my man Peter Parker. It is finally that season. We got Spider-Man 2. Again, I haven't gotten a chance to get my hands on it just yet. It's sitting on my PS5 right now, just already installed, and I'm like working my ass off. But everything I'm hearing about this game makes it sound like a step up from the first one in pretty much every facet. And
Yeah,
yeah, like I mean, what's your hype level? Because I know you haven't tried it yet, but where are you at with Spider Man? How you feeling?
tried it yet. I ain't buyed it yet. I,
Yeah.
I, my hype level was like at a 9.6.
Mhm.
Congratulations to y'all if y'all get that reference.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
when people started talking about it, specifically like the first, I think it was like first 2 hours,
yeah,
like the shit I'm hearing about it, because
yeah,
I've done a really good job of avoiding spoilers outside of the obvious launch trailer. So I know who I'm dealing with when the game starts, which is fine. That's whatever.
yeah.
But the just based on the way people are talking about the first 2 hours, it's jumped to like a 12. I I really can't wait to get my hands
Straight
on
up.
it, and I gotta wait for I got to get through a baby birthday and get the payday, and then
Yeah,
I'm solid.
you got to make
But
sure everything is good. And
I'm just holding off trying to get through the 27th, bro. That's it. That's all. I'm just trying to get through the
it's
27th.
coming, man. We almost there, bro. We
Actually, no,
almost
the
there.
29th. I got to get through the 29th.
All right. Well, I will tell you, I'm not going through the same things. You know, being childless, it ain't never going to be as bad for me. But so I ain't going to try to compare. But I
Hey, look,
will
I
say,
hate comparative suffering. If it
yeah,
sucks, it sucks.
absolutely. And triple shifts not the most fun thing in the world.
Rid of dash.
But I'm get that money there, the mentality. And the reason I
Fuck that
haven't,
mentality too.
I think money's cool, but not needing money is the goal. It's not getting it, it's
Exactly.
not wanting it. But
The ideal scenario is to be sitting around with your feet up, not working at all.
facts. We don't have to pretend it's not like we don't have
Yeah,
to,
like
you know,
I am not a proponent of grind culture at all. Fuck that shit.
facts.
I do what I have to do
Because
to get my money, but fuck
straight
that
up.
shit, man. Take your
Because
PTO, get your rest, all of that.
at the end of the day, when we sit here and do this shit for free, that's more important than going to work every day to grind because you're getting a
That's a
paycheck. Like
fact.
this is passion, you know what I mean? Like making sure you got some food on your plate is cool, but live to live. Don't live to work.
Yeah.
With that being said, damn, I forgot how we even got here from fucking Spider-Man. Thank you, Peter Parker. You saving us every way you can. Just giving inspiration
I
out there.
mean, the broke man superhero.
Facts. 100%. No, I was gonna say grinding out at work so long is the reason I haven't touched Spider-Man because you get hours between shifts, but I'm not playing
It's not,
a little
yeah.
bit of that first hour. Yeah, like I'm playing
Mm-mm.
through that whole shit. And
I seen
actually,
people I see people that beat that shit already and everybody kind of dumping on them like, damn, did you unemployed? I'm like, nah, you don't
yeah,
get it. You don't get it. Like,
this was this weekend for them.
if
Like,
I had a day with
yep.
not no work and no like adult responsibilities and obligations, let me tell you how this is going to go. I'm going to wake up at 12. No, I'll wake up at 10. I will shower, brush my teeth, and eat. At 12 o'clock, I will be playing all day.
Facts.
I will shower later in the night and I will sit down and play until I get sleepy again, which will probably be somewhere around 4 in the morning.
Yep.
And then I will sleep until 10 and finish.
He said shit again.
You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? Like
That's how
that's
that goes.
actually
Mhm.
hard to do
Yeah.
if you just like shower beforehand. Like that's
Honestly,
all you
like,
gotta do. Just that's my
yeah,
thing. Play your game all day if you want. Just make sure you shower. Like we don't need to
yeah.
continue the gamer stereotype of mustiness. Just
Don't
shower.
don't start don't start smelling yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But
I don't even mind not eating. Like I'll sit around with a bottle of water, but at least shower.
facts,
That's it.
facts.
I Other than that, I ain't here to judge you.
Look,
Do
man,
your
we
thing.
sometimes you call off for a weekend. You take it a couple days and you enjoy yourself because this is like it's like an overblown version of like a movie. You go to a movie, you sit there
Yep.
and just lock in for like a couple hours. This is a long ass movie, you know?
Yep. Actually, before we actually get into the superhero genre itself, what was the
Hmm.
last game you took like 3 days off of work for?
The I didn't take time off for Zelda, but I scheduled
Nah, I
tactically.
ain't seen. No,
You
no, I
know
ain't
what
talking about that.
I'm
I'm talking
saying?
about you 4 months out from release, and you like, I'm specifically taking them 3 days
Man,
off to do that and
you
nothing
know
else but
what?
that.
I'm not gonna hold you. It was probably not even work. It was probably like I was out working when Uncharted 2 came out because I remember just being at the fucking crib. Like I remember waiting for that was the first time I remember ordering something on Amazon and just being by the window, like every couple minutes, like just yo, where y'all at? Like where my package at? Like I know y'all coming, bro. I see the
Mine was
tracker,
Red Dead too.
man. Okay, okay,
Yeah, I
that was
pre-ordered
familiar.
digital, and when that clock went zero, I was locked in. I took matter of fact, I think I took 4 days off.
Damn.
I took 4 days off. I went Friday to Monday.
I mean, that's a game to do it for. That's a
Yeah,
hefty ass game. Hell yeah.
dog. I said when that motherfucker started up, I sat down in the center of the TV. I turned the lights out.
Yeah,
Put the
locked in.
headphones down, and I was gone.
My man was a fucking cowboy for a week. I'm not mad.
Naked, naked.
Yeah,
My profile picture for a minute was Deadpool in cowboy gear.
I'm not mad. You know what I mean? The ties are right back into superheroes, you know? And honestly, I would have for Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man is a game where not only is it like something that's just pure fun, like this is a game where I'm gonna keep picking up. I don't even have to have played it yet. I'm still actually trying to finish the DLC from Spider-Man 1 because I never had played it. And I know that like they kind of allude to it a little bit in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I
Um,
just re-downloaded yesterday.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get through that, but and then kind of power through Spider-Man 2. But I know that that's a game where I can come back and play it multiple times, and also I can probably beat it in like a solid couple days. Like it's not gonna take that long to finish.
That's a 2 day game.
Facts,
Like if you,
facts,
I mean, if you don't want to do everything, then it's like a 3 or 4 day game.
and
And
I
then
always
people
do.
who want to act holier than thou and act like they got a lot, sure, play 2 hours a day and then drag it out for a whole week or two. That's fine. Play how you want to play. I'm just saying, like realistically speaking, that's a 2 or 3 day game,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's fine.
I am a small chunk type guy. Like I like to drag that shit out and like enjoy
Yeah,
it for as long as possible.
I'm a marathon gamer, and then I will enjoy the game after. Like
Yeah.
that prior to having Arya and all this other stuff, like responsibilities and all that stuff. New game come out. My goal is to have it beaten by the weekend, and then actually enjoy it doing the other stuff afterwards. I
Fair
just want to
enough. And
enjoy the
that's
story, but I'm a story ass nigga, so I just want to like you said, it's a movie for me. So I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
lock in and experience as much of the movie in one shot as I can.
And I can somewhat agree. I tried to do that just now, replaying Spider-Man 1. I've beaten that game twice already. This is like my third playthrough. I
See,
was just
it's
trying to,
hard to do on replays.
yeah, yeah, because I'm like, I could just finish all this shit. Like, I'm real close to finish. Spider-Man has a gameplay loop where, like, when you start off playing, it feels like the map is just full of shit. Like, man, I don't not feel like doing all this. There's backpacks over here and challenges over there and all this shit. And then you just kind of start doing them and you look up and you're like, damn, I done cleared like 80% of the map. I
Nigga,
might as well just go knock out the rest of the shit.
it's a really great because everything is like accessible.
Yeah.
Like you get to all you gotta do is press a button and you got it, and then you can move on to the next thing.
Yep.
So there's not
Exactly.
really a whole lot of I gotta run through a tunnel and beat 20 bad guys and then get the thing and then go out of the tunnel and go to the next thing. It's nah, I'm swinging, backpack on the wall, grab it, start swinging again.
Yeah, we out. Facts. Every little like side mission, every little fight, like crime challenge, even the main story missions are like the right amount of length. Like they don't take too long. Even the fucking annoying ones where you gotta walk around as MJ and Miles and
Mm.
shit. They're the worst
I
parts of the game.
I hate I hated.
We
I mean,
all
everybody hated the Mary
yeah.
Jane. The Miles one with Rhino, I didn't mind too much.
Because there's a little challenge to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the MJ
Listen,
shit was just
The MJ one where mild spoilers for the game is not really important, but the MJ one in Spider-Man one where you're a hostage and like you telling Spider-Man to take motherfuckers out, like pointing at him and he's like dropping down and like actually snatching them up. I thought that one was pretty cool. Like I actually enjoyed doing that shit.
that
But
was cool from like a perspective standpoint. Like, oh,
yeah,
you controlling him with her,
right.
but you know,
You still walking around.
it wasn't. Yeah,
So
like her missions weren't necessary, and I get wanting to make her like an integral part of the because she
and
is Mary Jane.
also wanting to break up the gameplay a little bit, like because you do a lot of fighting shit. Like you hit square a whole lot in that fucking game. So I definitely understand wanting some slower pace moments. Same with
But
the
you know
like,
what it is, and I can't remember. I wish I could remember who wrote it, but there was an article I saw where they were basically saying Insomniac and a lot of studios who do these like story-based third-person games took a lot of inspiration from what Naughty Dog did as far as like the slower moments. Like when
mm,
Uncharted, the first time, because Uncharted was really the first one to do it when you end up in that like snow-capped mountain area
yep,
and you're not doing anything but kind of interacting with people,
walking through
but
Yemen.
it's like really important. And then everybody else started doing it. And like the Mary Jane missions was like the bad side of that. Like I get what they were
Yeah,
going for, but it just don't hit, man. It just don't hit.
100%. And I've heard a lot of people kind of say the inspiration that people take from Last of Us and now by extension God of War, which I would argue was kind of inspiration from Last of Us, but whatever. The things that people take
Yeah.
from those slower moments and shit, they fit when they fit. Like I've heard some concern about like PlayStation games becoming a little too like focused in that direction because it's not always fun. Like that shit does not always feel. It's different when you're guiding your son to hunt his first deer versus like walking through a museum and like looking at all Kingpin's bullshit. I mean, if there's a cool little reference to something, like, that's cool.
See,
But
the integral difference between those two is that in God of War, it had to do with the story.
right, right. This
And
feels
that was
like
it. Like you're furthering something between Kratos and Atreus as
right.
opposed to just clicking buttons and hearing her talk out loud to herself.
MJ's missions were like they were part of the story where her doing research, but it could have been like her calling Peter afterwards and telling him she did this shit. And I would not the game wouldn't have suffered for
You
that,
wouldn't have missed nothing.
like anything, you know what I mean? Give her a cutscene, I'm not mad at it, but it is what it is. I've heard that Spider-Man 2 has a little less of that. They kind of like it seems like they've kind of like just improved everything, like polished up every little critique that everyone had about the first one. So I can't wait to jump into that. I
Man,
want to
fucking A.
talk about the actual. I guess it's not really a subgenre when it comes to superhero games, but I want to talk about the state of superhero games because superheroes are at an all-time high. Like we've peaked when it comes to superheroes. Motherfuckers
Yeah.
know who Star Lord is, bro. Like everyone knows who that is. Like this is a different time. So why are games not there also? It's an interesting question.
So we had like we've never had a boom period of superhero games the way we had it in movies with the MCU. Like there was a 10-year
That's
stretch where Marvel was not missing,
yeah.
even with the bad movies, because we knew they were connected, they still weren't really missing. There's been a 10-year stretch of superhero games where one company was tearing it up, which was
Mhm.
Rocksteady.
Yep,
That
that's
was
it.
it. Like Batman was holding it down for, and it's almost like it mirrored the movies for like a minute, because for a minute it was Batman in the movies was holding it
Yeah,
down
yeah.
and nothing else. And
And
then you had Rocksteady come through with the Arkham series. Insomniacs got Spider-Man, but I mean,
Other than that, it's a little tough out here. I
we
feel
can't even
like,
get a good Superman game, bro. Like,
which is just crazy, but it is what it is. I know that's a tough superhero to deal with like everything that Superman is, but we should. So I want to take a moment to appreciate what we do have because there are some good ones. We got Guardians of the Galaxy recently, which was pretty fire,
fire.
unexpectedly fire, and different as fuck. Like it was actually doing
Yeah,
something unique. But at the same time, like what else is there to really like build up like that? Like Avengers is an Avengers video game. We
it
don't have to
was
beat a dead
not.
horse. You know what I mean? So it wasn't what
It
it should have
was,
been
yeah.
at all.
Deadpool's game was solid.
It was.
I
It
enjoyed
was.
that game.
And I was gonna say the era of movies kind of does like replicate games at that time because you had Batman kind of like killing it and X-Men kind of throwing a good one in there every now and then. They might have
Yeah, and
a few
but
shitty
dog, we
ones.
ain't had a good X-Men game since what? Legends 2?
Yeah, like I mean,
Dog,
really,
that was GameCube era.
yeah. It's crazy. Like they have these properties feel like they just would work. Like, and we're about to get Wolverine from Insomniac, so hopefully that kind of
Yeah.
helps open it up a little bit. We don't see that
Well,
only Spider-Man can
well,
work.
you know what? No, let me back up. Let me back up because Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was fire, but nobody knows because it was on Switch and
Yeah.
y'all be fronting on the Switch.
Honestly, I've
Um,
always slept on that series, so I need to pick that up.
you didn't play the first two?
I've played them, but like it didn't. I wasn't
Nigga,
as into them at the time. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. I just kind of slept on that series. Yeah,
man.
yeah,
You talking about
yeah.
some classics?
I've heard, man, for sure.
Man, you need to get on that.
Yeah,
But yeah, Ultimate Alliance 3 was great, but again, it was a Switch exclusive.
right.
So, everybody be hating and oh, it's on the Switch, I ain't playing it. All right, well, then keep
It's
asking for it,
out.
but it's
Yeah,
right there. So,
right.
I don't know what else to tell you, dog. You keep asking
Facts.
for it. There you go.
Uh,
Um, but nah, man, like the state of superhero games just ain't what I thought it was going to be, especially when the MCU took off. And I definitely was not expecting like tie-ins and shit because
mm,
I think Marvel specifically was avoiding that
yeah.
because if you look at the way movies and games have been connected, primarily that 97 to 2008 era,
Hmm.
it was constant. You had a movie,
Yeah.
there was a game coming.
There was a game.
Like, and it was probably bad.
Yeah.
There were a
Yeah.
couple, like maybe a couple to sneak through, but for the most part, they was bad. And I think
Yeah.
you go 10 years and don't have a tie-in game, you are purposefully not doing that.
Yeah. I
And I
mean,
appreciated that.
I think there was a Batman Begins game, right?
Batman, no,
That
but look, Batman Begins was good.
interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
If I feel like those movies were so prestigious that like that like, having a game tie-in feels a little weird. Like, I don't know if I'm just this is me.
But that's because we're looking back on it now in those 10 years. But if you actually look at it in the moment, there why didn't we have an Iron Man game?
Yeah,
You
facts.
know what I mean?
And
Like
that's the other side of it. Like the MCU's branding feels so much more uh game friendly. Like, they tend to do a little bit of synergy when it comes to movie drops. Like I feel like we just went through a wild Spider-Man. I don't think people realize the amount of
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
has
we just
man,
got. Like, and I
Spider-Man
mean,
has blown up.
banger. I mean, this has always been my favorite superhero. Spider-Man always been killing it, but I mean, we get Miles Morales, and then we get, No Way Home, and then we get Across the Spider-Verse, and now we get this. Like it's wild. But
Yeah,
and
I think that the biggest thing with Spider-Man is that people now are leaning far more into relatability when it comes to not just superhero characters, but like fictional characters in general. And
right.
there is literally no superhero more relatable than Spider-Man because at the end of the day, he's a motherfucker who rent due and he ain't got the money.
Facts. And that is where they're going to keep this man
Yeah,
forever. It's
yeah,
crazy.
that's just it is what it is with him.
Yeah.
He's the like I said, he's the broke man superhero.
And, between that and his, like, the reason he's my favorite superhero is because I think I said it before. I think Spider Man has the most unique, like, set of powers out of, like, damn near any superhero I can think of. And it's, like, the coolest shit ever. Like, nobody travels like this motherfucker. That's why you get a whole
Yeah,
universe full of clones of this guy because he's unique enough that all these motherfuckers can feel unique as spinoffs of this one guy. Like that shit's
yeah.
crazy. Um, other superheroes tend to fade into each other a little bit more. So maybe that's where some of the challenge comes from. You can't
Well, I
make
think
them
the other thing is that between Marvel and DC, a solid 75 to 80% of them are copies of each other. It just
right,
depends on who came first. Like if you actually
right.
look back at their history, that you could find one Marvel character who is a clone of a DC character 10 years later or vice versa.
Facts. I mean,
I
that's how
mean,
that goes.
Thanos and Darkseid, same dude,
Yeah,
you
just
know.
do different shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you take this concept or this even this feeling for a character and just take it in a different direction. Like you can do these parallels. It's interesting to
Yeah.
watch the boys and
Deathstroke and
this.
Deadpool,
That's like
Slade Wilson,
yeah,
Wade Wilson,
right. That's an
obvious.
intentional one.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Like like Rob Liefeld did that on purpose,
yeah,
but it was also lampooning the fact that the past, I think at that point, 40 years of comic history was just okay. We're going to do our version of this character.
facts,
Spider-Man was
facts.
the first one that was like nobody, nobody is doing this.
Yeah, and I'm sure like some comic nerds can like check us on that. But he was one of the most original ones. Like you already know, Spider-Man was one that it's hard to touch. But I feel like there's so many characters, even with the sameness of them and like the genericness of superheroes. When you break it down, there's a lot of characters that can make for some cool games, and there's some characters that have and need their shine again.
I'm
I
still
feel
waiting for a
like
Doctor Strange game.
that would be incredible. Like, think about the possible. You can do whatever the fuck you want to with that. Like, he's a
Bruh.
magician. What are we doing?
Look, I know at this point we're kind of overworking them, but if Rift Apart showed us anything, it's that Insomniac's kind of the ones to be doing multiversal characters.
Why would you
Who
put that in my head?
I'm
Why?
just saying. At this, like I
Imagine
said, at this
fucking
point between
just.
Spider-Man,
Oh
Spider-Man
my
Miles
god.
Morales, Spider-Man 2, and Wolverine, we're kind of putting them through the ringer.
Oh yeah.
But they
I
would
don't.
kill a Doctor Strange game.
I straight up don't understand how they're doing this. Like,
I
this shit
don't
is
either.
crazy.
I don't.
But yeah, I mean, listen. I want them to make a. I want them to build up to the Avengers. The fuck, like I really want
Because
them
at
to
this
go
point, I
great.
feel like they're the only ones who know what they're doing with these superheroes.
And it's
Like
why, and
even
I
the
don't want that to
Wolverine
be the case.
trailer, like
Right. That felt
we
like
have
what
no gameplay, but there was I've never seen anything more Wolverine other than Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine.
facts. I mean, it
That
felt
trailer
like
was perfect.
he felt Canadian. That shit's wild. Like, how did you do
Dog,
that?
he felt Canadian and it felt dirty and
Yeah.
gritty and not in that, oh, we're so edgy way. Like, no, it just felt like a Wolverine comic. Just the 2 minutes
Dive
that
bar.
trailer was on.
100%. Like, I want more companies to really. I'm hoping for this Wonder Woman game to really surprise me. Like, that's one that I'm holding
Yeah,
out hope
that
for.
we got a Black Panther game coming.
That too.
There's a
There's
Captain
apparently
America and Black Panther
yeah.
game.
And that's the
I'm
one
not
I'm
sure
so
about that
curious
one.
about. That's Amy
Yeah,
Hennig though. That's Amy Hennig.
is
So
it?
I'm like,
That's her.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
well, all right. Well, we're good.
exactly.
We're
Like
good.
you have a
Never mind.
concept.
I'm a
Yeah.
fuck
So
nigga. My bad.
I'm telling you, like, because the idea is just like, whoa, what? It's like a past. It's like Black Panther's T'Challa's grandfather and Captain America in his original time. And they're fucking around with each other. Yeah, like it's not even like this is not just a random Black Panther. They got an idea here.
So
Like
wait, it's like okay, so it's like 1940. Like
yeah,
oh,
something like that.
there's a serious potential for jokes
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. That's gonna be interesting. And honestly, you can't not at least mention it. Like you got to do something
You got
about that.
yeah, yeah.
You
You
have a
can't set it
black superhero in racist America. Oh, I'm
with
killing
the most
somebody.
American of yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, come on, you got to. This is the most tasteful way you can possibly address that shit. You might bring us closer as a country. Do it seriously.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean,
But
they really didn't touch on it too much in the movies, which I'm
yeah,
disappointed by, but not in like the serious way. Because I really think
yeah,
that there was because what I do remember was the and fucking weirdos on the internet, man. And I might start sounding like CM Punk in a second, but these fucking weirdos on the internet, they get out here and they pulled a scene where Steve hands Nick Fury that $10 bill or whatever it was, and they're going, oh, there's some racist connotations here because he handed him the money. I'm like, no, motherfucker, he made a bet with him like 10 minutes ago. Were you not paying attention?
How is that a controversial thing? Like this is why you can't listen to.
I wish I could
Yeah,
remember the tweet, but they came up with some ridiculous fucking explanation. Just
you
fucking
know what?
dumb,
The the
dumb-headed,
fact
dumb
that you
fucks.
can't the fact that you can't remember that tweet is busting. You hold on to that because that's where that
Yeah,
needs
I
to
will.
be.
Yeah, because
But
yeah, no,
honestly,
it's
though,
just
there's a lot you could touch on there. Like it's kind of like with the Final Fantasy. I never talked about the Final Fantasy thing, but have you heard the controversy with Final Fantasy 16?
with the black characters or not having
Yeah,
black
where
characters or something like
they
that.
were like, some about like trying to be historically accurate to Europe. That was all bullshit. They didn't do it because that game is revolving around slavery.
Yeah,
Fuck
and that
that.
was the thing is
Like,
because
yeah,
I read the because the initial thing that I read was the explanation. It's not historically accurate, and in my head I went, "Fuck out of
it's
here."
dumb. Yeah, it's stupid.
But then the game came out, and I started
And
hearing about the story, and I'm like, "No, you can't do that.
we
You
don't want like this is a
no,
logical thing. Like
yeah, no, this was
that,
the right move. You
the way
cannot,
that the way they treat slaves in that game, there's side quests that are specifically designed for you to be like, that was fucked up. That's the whole
nigga.
point of the side quest. Like, like there's no fighting. You just going to see some fucked up shit. All right,
You know
quest
what the
complete.
irony is though, is that people were still complaining about the lack of black characters.
And I
And
mean,
to
that's
me,
how
the
that
point
goes.
was put white characters in these
Do
shoes and see
that.
how you
Yeah.
react to it.
Right.
And look at how mad you motherfuckers are. Now imagine motherfuckers actually having to go through that.
You know what I mean? Like this shit's crazy what they went through, huh? That's fucked up,
Yeah,
right?
it's nuts. It is a horrible, terrible
Imagine that
thing. It
really
just
happened.
yeah, I can't imagine that would ever happen to a group of people ever.
But
Yeah.
with that being said, I do really want to see how Captain America, because I mean you don't, if you're not gonna touch on stuff like that, don't, you shouldn't have said it back then with fucking
Yeah.
Black Panther and Captain America. I mean, unless you
Yeah,
in
like
Europe.
you're asking for you're asking for it at that point.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you have to it has to be some part of the story almost.
Even if it's the opening cutscene, some black person's getting harassed and Black Panther fucks up the people harassing them, and that's how we introduced to him. And you never do anything with it again. At least you've established that, hey, this world is
Fucked
racist.
up yeah, fucked up
Yeah, we
things
going
happen.
yeah, we're gonna shut that down with this guy
Yeah. And I
sometimes.
don't even consider this putting like too much on them. I'm like, you're led by a white person. You're
Yeah,
touching this time period with that particular character. It's kind of on you to handle this correctly.
yeah. That's
It's
just kind of
just
what it is.
unless you
That's
want to
just
hire
kind of
some
what it
brothers in
is.
there. I mean, me and Kendall is free.
Facts. I'm right here, man.
We right here. You know?
Yeah, listen, I can do an old timey. I the impression I was about to do would get us pulled from
Brother,
YouTube, so we're gonna hold
let me
up
tell you
on
something. If I'll be all up in
that.
them.
That was enough. That was that. You're hired. That's it right there. Nah, but see, now that we
Give me some
talk
high
about it,
pants.
honestly, all right. So you ain't got to dress up for the vocal booth.
Oh no, you
We
gotta do
just
it right. Look, no, look. I'm in the Jamie Foxx camp of impressions, man. The mannerisms matter. The
okay.
look,
You
it
know,
matters. It
facts. This
matters.
motherfucker will scrunch his face up like Denzel and then sound
It,
like Denzel.
I'm telling you, the facial expressions is like 40% of the impression, man.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But honestly, though, Brad, like this conversation has made me more hopeful for superhero games. There's actually a couple interesting ones coming out. Um, and I know we
I
getting
am
long
interested
into
in
the
Wonder
episode.
Woman though,
Yeah, I'm very curious about what they're going to do. I know
because
you better implement some type of nemesis system. Like you have to, because if you
is that
didn't,
WB? Are they doing it?
yeah, that's that
Okay, I
team.
was about to say
Yep.
because I mean, nobody else can touch it because they went and patented
Exactly.
it like some
So
greedy motherfuckers.
now that you're making another game, you use your patent, or I'm gonna sue you. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Fuck
we're
that.
gonna
You
have
ain't
to do
about to.
something because yeah, no. I think Wonder Woman is kind of perfect for that, but
Yeah, you got
incorporating her powers into a video game is interesting because you can't have a Wonder Woman game one without the lasso and
right.
two without the bracelets,
Mm.
which means
So
you almost have to be you have to have like 80% enemies with guns.
yeah, and that's video game like that's a love letter. Like that's a beautiful thing for a studio to
But
hear.
yeah, and that's the thing though is that because then it calls into question enemy variety.
Yeah, but I
Like
mean,
it's a snowball effect from there. So I'm
you
really curious about how they incorporate her abilities.
the way I'm looking at it, I feel like you got your generic, human-ish enemies or whatever, whoever, however they make them be able to hang with Wonder Woman, the same way Spider-Man does, where they put him in some armor suits, give him some weird weapons.
Right.
You'll mix it up, make it supernatural. Then you'll have your upper tier, like whatever supernatural creatures, like actual motherfuckers that can fight Wonder Woman. And I really like the bracelet thing. Like I feel like your block, if it was
No,
me putting
that's
my
such a
little
fire thing.
yeah, like your fucking block can just be that. You just fucking shit up. And like you got a stamina bar tied to it or something. So you're not because Wonder Woman is kind of like Superman, but a woman. Like she's pretty beastly. I mean, she ain't all
Yeah.
the way there, maybe, but I don't put her too far down.
No, I mean
Yeah.
she's pretty much there.
I mean, I'm just saying this so that again the comic nerds don't fucking crucify me, but I know she's at least on that tier, like she's in that conversation. So it's gonna be
I
weird.
mean, look, I look at comic book nerds the same way I look at Star Wars nerds. Y'all motherfuckers ain't never happy with nothing, even when it's good. So
Ever,
anything
ever.
you say to me, like I grew up reading comic books too. Like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just more interested to see where the stories go. That's how I've always taken it. That's how I feel about the MCU. That's why I ain't tripping about shit being bad, so to speak. Even though Loki's fire.
Oh no, Thor 2.
But
No, I was tripping on Thor 2.
oh, well, that's a different. So here's okay. So that's a good point. Thor 2 was during the good times. Like I want us to remember that shit. They was building up to
Hmm.
something and they failed on Thor 2. I am not at all capping for the Thor 2 like it's a good movie. That movie's bad. But I just want y'all to remember when y'all talking about how bad Phase 4 is, Phase 2 was also bad because it was after the introductions but before anything was going on. Like ain't shit going on. Like this shit boring and it's isolated stories. So
But here's the thing: was Phase 4 really bad?
no.
Like
Like
Moon
there
Knight
was
was meh.
I like the Moon Knight. Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
I, there was such a high bar set for everything because everything after Phase 2 was a banger.
facts.
It was just constant banger after banger after banger. Like
Yeah,
everything hit.
more surprising than faltered in the end, not.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
you get to 4 if you're because at this point Thanos is done. That
mm-hmm.
story is over. You have to start over. So you have to reestablish something else.
But
The issue is that instead of treating it like a long comic book event, which is basically what the MCU was for the first 10 years,
mm-hmm.
people are treating it like, I mean, I guess it is technically as a series of movies, but it's very obvious that they're treating it like a comic book event.
Right,
So yeah, we're starting another story. We have to reestablish it. Phase 4 is not bad. It's just we starting over and it's gonna be a little slow. It's like the first season of Breaking Bad. It's not
exactly.
bad. It's just slow as fuck.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like I'm telling you, phase is exactly how Phase 2 was. Phase 1 was the introduction. We were hyped to see these motherfuckers. Phase 2 was a bunch of sequels. Okay, we see you again. Now you find somebody I don't give a fuck about. Like
Yeah. Thor 1 was boring though. It wasn't
I
bad, but
liked
it
it.
was boring.
It was. I was. I recently rewatched it. And yeah, it's a little dull. Like that's because of the nature of like Norse mythology, and when you start Thean and Darwin and shit, it
See,
gets a
I ain't
little
got no
boring.
issue with that. I just
It's
thought
got
the
to be
movie was
done well.
boring.
I mean, straight
Yeah.
up, that's not that type of movie isn't boring, but that's why that movie was boring. Like that
That
movie
makes
was
sense.
boring because
That makes
you know what
sense.
I mean. Like they went real heavy with that shit. And like I don't
Yeah.
care about Odin's like conflict with Thor that much. I really don't.
Yeah.
But
When they let Chris Hemsworth like loosen up a little bit, it got a little better. And then
yep,
from
then
what
they
I
got
hear,
too
because I
loose.
still haven't seen yeah, I was I still haven't seen Love and Thunder, but from what I hear, they got a little crazy with it.
Yeah, I actually just recently watched it again. Um, Again, not the worst movie. Nothing in the MCU is like ass. You know what I mean? Like it's always you're gonna see some cool fights and has fun moments, and you're gonna see what's up with Thor now. Like that's it's all a continuous story. But nah, they kind of they kind of went a little too
Okay.
hard. Yeah, they went a little too far with the humor. Now when you hear that, it's gonna temper you. I'm going into that movie as Ragnarok sequel, right? So that's my impression after seeing it as like, oh, is this
That's
going to
what
live up
I
to Ragnarok?
expected.
Right, right. I mean, that's what it is, right? Like it was supposed to be the follow up. But you having your expectations tempered, you'll probably enjoy it. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it's not a terrible movie.
I mean,
Um,
my thing with comic book movies or nerd shit in general, my expectations are always tempered. Like
Same.
I won't even just drop it to nerd shit. Movies in general. Like I'm a very simple person to please when it comes to movies. That's why I love Fast and Furious to this day. I don't like it's not realistic. It's a fucking movie. It's a dumb
That's what's,
action movie. Like
but
I can't wrap my head around the concept of people thinking that dumb action movies are supposed to make sense.
yeah, nah,
Like
like
Predator didn't make sense. Cliffhanger didn't make sense.
wanted. None of this shit makes sense.
Wanted didn't make sense. Taken didn't make sense. Taken
Facts.
700 didn't make sense. They're just dumb action movies and they're fun.
You got to
Like
look
that's
at. I had to learn to look at those movies the way I look at like the Kingsman. You know what I
let me
mean?
tell you,
Like,
let me say something. Other than probably anything Denzel did in the same year Fast 10 came out, there was not a better performance than Jason Momoa as Dante. He was
that's
fucking incredible in that movie.
okay.
I'll
I'm
die
out
on that
there.
hill. I'll die on that hill. Jason Momoa should have got a fucking Oscar for that. He was so
Yo,
fucking good in that movie.
that is a
Bro,
bold take.
dog, did you see Fast 10 yet?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Okay,
But I okay.
watch that movie and
Nah,
get back
listen.
to me on it.
The way I
I'm
just
telling you.
tempered, the way I just tempered your expectations for Thor, you just did the exact opposite for Fast 10. I'm looking
Look,
at this
Fast
bitch.
10 was dope. It was dope. But the best part of that entire movie was Jason Momoa.
Okay.
He was fucking incredible.
Okay. I'm very interested in seeing this now. 100%.
See, I know
Nah,
you, so I know damn well saying this, I'm not going to be wrong.
nah,
You're,
I'm
you're going to
just
text me after watching that movie. You'll be like, yeah,
that shit was
yeah.
amazing. Because this is the thing with the reason I know I can enjoy those movies, and I haven't really like watched. I've watched so many of them and just not processed any of them because it's just fucking junk food. But the reason I know I can enjoy that shit, sit down and watch it, is because I'm just looking at what you're trying to do and how close did you get to your crazy idea. I'm not looking at Fast and the Furious like, oh, can you tell me this type of story? I'm like, oh, okay. You wanted to blow up some cars. How good did you blow up the cars? Oh, you blew the
Exactly.
motherfuckers up pretty good.
That's the
Like,
dog. Blow shit up and cuss at me. I'm
yeah,
good.
right. I mean, and the
That's
same
it. That's
goes
all I
for
need.
this is exactly how I feel about the MCU. Oh, you want to tell me a continuous story about these superheroes? All right, what's happening next? Oh, that was kind of dumb, but it's just one big ass story. Like Amelia Clark's little dumbass Drax arm looked fucking terrible. I still enjoyed Secret Invasion. I
It's
did.
hilarious. It's
It's just
hilarious.
so stupid looking. It stood out to me even while I was enjoying it. But I had fun with the ride. I don't care.
That's
The
all that matters, man.
villain's plan was ass. I time has kind of. I was very upset with how mad people were at that show because I'm like this. I had fun with it, and as time went on, I was like that shit didn't make sense, did it? He shouldn't have did
Didn't
any of that.
doesn't
But
matter because we're trying to get somewhere, man.
facts. We got a
Look,
Samuel L. Jackson
sometimes you got to
led
stop
show,
at a bad fast food spot on the way in a 14-hour trip. It
100%.
happens.
And guess what? I got something in my stomach for now. Like I got a little MCU.
Hey, yeah, man. Hey,
It
look,
is
I'm
what it is.
full. I don't have to stop and ask for no food for the
Yep.
next 6 hours. We'll be all
And
right.
then once you can settle down and get somewhere comfortable, you get a nice little Loki. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Stop
Just
off at a
take
Roost Chris. You be all right.
it, take it as it comes. Take it as it comes. But honestly, I feel like that's actually an excellent place to start wrapping it up. Before we do that, bring back fucking Infamous. I know. I
I
know.
told you we working these motherfuckers
I
tomorrow.
know we got a lot going on. Bring back prototype. Bring back like these.
Prototype was the shit.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Prototype
I
was the
know
shit.
Infamous probably ain't happening. But I was more of an Infamous guy. And those games deserve to still exist. Like I don't know. I know they kind of
We
went
need
off in a different
superhero.
direction.
That prototype is probably prototype and Infamous are the types of game that we need superhero movies that aren't necessarily tied. I mean, games that aren't tied to
Exactly.
superheroes,
And that's
but
what I
have
wanted to
that
get in.
same shit.
Right. I wanted to get that little part into this episode too, because there are good like original superheroes can be fire. Like and those are the two examples. Like those are the premier examples of that. They've knocked it out of the park multiple times. Infamous did it 3 times. I liked Second Son.
You know,
I liked First Light.
while we talking about superheroes, the most underrated superhero movie on the planet is only good for 66% of the movie.
Hmm.
It's Hancock.
Yeah.
Hancock
Yep.
should have dog. That should have been the one. And then
Yeah.
they had to turn it into white woman was his kryptonite. And that just fucked up everything that happened.
Yeah.
Will Smith was incredible in that movie. Like, have you watched
That
that shit
was
recently?
oh man.
He
I
was
mean, recently
really
enough.
that shit was really fucking good until it got to that point.
Bro, you had Will Smith and Jason Bateman bouncing off each other. Fucking
And Will
like
Smith was
that shit
being
was
an
amazing.
asshole. He
Yes,
was the asshole.
amazing movie, amazing. It was everything it was supposed to be
It
until
was
it wasn't.
so good for the last into the last third.
And I'm not gonna hold you. I like the very ending where he's like reformed. That part was pretty fire too. And then he gets called an asshole one more time and shit like that. That it
Oh,
had ideas. They just went
so good.
to. They tried to throw a serious superhero movie into that
Yeah,
bitch
like
in like the
we
11th
didn't
hour.
need that, man. Like
Yeah,
he took old girl in the trailer and blew her out the fucking like that
yeah.
was if we had just
It's just
stayed in
incredible.
that type of like
Man,
black comedy shit, man, it would have been a fucking banger.
that movie. I want Seth Rogen to do Hancock too. That's what I'm gonna
Yep.
propose.
Because it
I
would be
want
right. Everything about that would be right.
just put him in the boys universe. Fuck it, you fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, the lore doesn't make sense, but you know, it's this. I
Doesn't
want
have
that
to.
vibe. I want
Doesn't have
that
to.
vibe for Hancock. Not necessarily the gross shit. They do a lot on the boys,
There's
but
a lot of gross shit.
yeah, they don't. I feel like they don't need to do all that. Like they do a little too much sometimes, but it's a fantastic show. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Fire.
yeah, yeah, but okay, so we've touched on pretty much every superhero property I can think of except one. So before we end the episode, I just want to say a straight up Invincible game would also be dope as fuck. I would love that. I would
Yeah.
be
Although, is it really fun if you're gonna spend like 70% of your game getting your ass beat? Because that's pretty much what he does the whole first season is just get his ass
well,
beat.
no. I mean, he does for a bit, and then he doesn't. He starts to do his thing, and then he really does. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to play a fucking boss fight where I'm doing quick time events to get fucked up worse. Like just watching this man
Dude,
fuck.
that's an indie game.
Yeah, like
That's an indie game.
some
Yeah.
different ass shit. But like trying to overpower your father and or let me not spoil it. But
Shout out to Ed Boon for getting Omni Man in Mortal Kombat 1 and giving us the train scene as a
yeah,
fatality.
as a fatality, it was one of those moments where I'm like, why did I not think about this? And
Lost my
then
fucking mind when I saw that.
perfect, it's flawless. Also got the head crushing, perfect,
Yes.
incredible. So we got a
Well,
little bit of that in the game.
yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, for now. But definitely let us know what superhero games you guys will want to play, what you're looking forward to the most. Let us know what platformers you missed, what you want to see come back. We want to make sure that we keep that engagement going and hear from you guys. So leave some comments down below, like and subscribe. Make sure you keep it going, man. We are here every week for you guys, and we want to keep that shit
Five
going.
stars on Apple,
Absolutely. We would
please.
love to be rated on podcast
YouTube.
services. If you're an audio listener, we have not forgot about you, audio listeners. Definitely look out for us if you feel like we're making great content because we say it every episode. We want to make this content for you guys. So we will definitely be back next week. But until then, I am Kendall. This is Tony, and keep gaming.